Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltamar and we're going to be continuing our Let's Play of Rogue Trader. Where we left off last time, we were on the bridge of our ship. We had a run-in with the Adeptus Mechanicus, killed one of their saints. You know, normal things. Argenta wants to talk to us, Jai wants to talk to us, and so does Heinrich. So we're going to do that first before we go to the planet. Let's go find Argenta. Let's see who we can find first. Heinrich is there, let's go talk to him I guess. Heinrich looks at you intently, his head tilted. You wanted to discuss the nature of your mission.
Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess.
Okay. We are sitting at our desk, apparently. Heinrich nods slightly. Thank you for finding an opportunity to talk. I trust now would be a good time to explain the reason for my return aboard your ship. I do not object to you personally, but I find the continuous presence of an Inquisition agent at my side slightly unnerving. Your concern is unfounded. As long as there's no substantial reason for it, I hope there will not be one. To business then. The cult of the Final Dawn. The madmen preach their heretical doctrine among the denizens of the Cronus Expanse and instigate crimes against the throne and humanity. One such crime took place in your protectorate. The Lord Inquisitor considered it necessary to have one of his acolytes accompany the rogue trader on the voyage into the corrupted region. I also need to meet with one of my observers on the capital world of your domain. Why would the Ordo Xenos agents investigate a chaos cult? You are well versed in how the Inquisition is organized, Altamar. Yes, initially our arrival in the Cronus Expanse was dictated by the need to fight Xenos, but there is more. The cult is tangentially related to my main specialization. Perhaps I'll be able to reveal the full truth someday, but right now, I ask you to display humility and patience. I've already agreed to give you a place aboard my ship. What else? The rogue trader should deliver me to the system that contains the industrial world of Kiava Gamma. I will then accompany you to the surface and determine what the cult is planning and how it intends to use the resources that have fallen into their clutches, which may very well include the blessed engines of the Adeptus Mechanicus and even the followers of the Omnissiah themselves. I'll be frank, the answer to the question is unlikely to please either of us. The machinations of chaos usually go beyond solely inflicting countless deaths and destruction. Having their plans come to fruition would lead to far more terrible consequences. One of the systems in the Cronus Expanse is already lost. May the Emperor protect us from watching this tragedy play out again. Why did your suspicion fall on Kiava Gamma? Disjointed pieces of data that finally merged into a single picture. Additionally, not long ago, a vessel from that world arrived on footfall. The reports from the crew were confusing and alarming, making me fear a planet-wide rebellion. We met a Chaos Space Marine on Rykad Minoris. Do we risk running into his brothers? I have no doubt it'll happen sooner or later, Altamar. Chaos Marines siding with the cult is very, very bad news. Most likely they kept away until recently, pulling their puppet strings from a respectable distance. These traitors seldom show up alone. The best we can count on is having to deal with just a squad of Chaos Space Marines in the Cronus Expanse and not an entire company. I must go about my business. Is there anything else I need to know? Let me put it to you this way. You may think whatever you want of me, but my goal is not to hinder you. I'm here to help you in the fight against foes you may not even be aware of. You have my word that I'll provide every assistance in uprooting this heresy that has sprouted on the Von Valencius worlds while their master was away, and that I'll try to be more patient with less grievous flaws the bearers of the warrant are sometimes known to have. Heinrichsen climbs his head. Thank you for sparing the time, Lord Captain. You got it. No worries. Oh, I have to... Can I just quick travel out? Apparently not. Okay. Let's go find the next person on our list of people to talk to. We don't particularly care about Heinrichs because he's not going to be part of our party for very long. Well, actually, I don't know when we're going to become full heretical, but when we do become more heretical, he will definitely jump ship, and then we won't need to worry about him anymore. Where's Argenta? She is down at the far end of the ship. However, we're on the other side, and Jai is here. Let's talk to Jai.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Sherin. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Sherin. I will watch your back, if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted?
Jai smiles broadly, showing her pearly teeth, and laughs melodically. Was there some business you wanted to discuss?
Oh, Shireen, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
Jai's face lights up with an enchanting smile. Alright, we're back in our office, it looks like, and she is approaching, and we are presumably at our desk. The flickering lights of dozens of candles play across Jai's face, making her small smile appear even more mysterious. Shireen, the Exalted One himself, brought us together the day you crossed Vladame's threshold. He led us to the cargo and gave his blessing for its return. Do you know what people in my world say when such a thing happens? What's gained is to be shared with your neighbor. She points at the containers in front of her. One contains a polished Eldari rifle, a rare model, and the other holds an ornate sword. I am sharing what I've gained with you. Please accept these humble gifts in honor of our wildly successful, though suddenly struck friendship. So, there is an Eldari rifle. It's pretty decent damage. Good armor pen. Interesting. And the sword, a Drukhari weapon. It does a lot of damage. It's two-handed. If we could get a two-handed weapon spec, we could probably give that to... well, no, he's got chain weapon specialization. Maybe we could give this to Jai herself. I think she has exotic weapon proficiency, but she doesn't have a lot of strength, so that wouldn't be great for her. We'll figure that out. Maybe we can give that to Pascal, although I really doubt it. He doesn't have Drukhari weapon proficiency. A truly wonderful gift. I accept it with gratitude. I knew you'd appreciate the Xenos mastery of their craft. Jai beams at you, curling a lock of her black hair around an augmented finger. After a brief pause, she awkwardly continues. So, the matter I wanted to discuss with you is related to my business. You know that I sell Xeno artifacts to interested Imperial subjects, and Imperial trinkets to Xenos. Business is going well, my network runs even without my participation, but when it comes to expansion, well, that's where I hit a wall. Rivals envious of my success, Jai throws up her hands. Velko especially, I'm certain the theft of the cargo was his doing, but I can never predict what that Ashmag will do next. And while the Imperium's authority may be fragmented in the expanse, it could crack down on people of my profession at any moment. Go on. If the rogue trader put in a good word for me with the servants of the Adeptus Administratum, I could become an official trade representative of the Imperium. Just imagine it, a little scrap of paper will offer me and my agents protection against Ashmag schemes far better than any refractor field. And even the Inquisition will have to think twice before they mess with me because I'll be a representative of the law in my own right. And the best part is, all this will cost you is precisely nothing, Shireen. All you have to do is stop by the Administratum Palace and retain a certificate from the Master of Seals. My informants tell me that the palace is located on Dargonis, your capital world. You see how everything is aligned so wonderfully, and of course, I will repay you in kind. That sounds simple enough. I will definitely help you. Exalted One, bless you, Shireen. I couldn't find a better business partner in all the expanse. She ponders for a moment, then graces you with a dazzling smile. Friendship is a gift from the Exalted One, and we must cherish it. And you'll have no complaints about our friendship, Shireen. I may not be a trade representative of the Imperium just yet, but I can still help you with whatever you need. You must have some faction in mind that you would like to establish relation with. The Severe Drusians, the hot-headed pirates of the Caspalica. You merely need to use the right words like a key for a lock, and the people will open their hearts to you, or their wallets. I'll arrange everything, you merely have to ask. I would like to be friendlier with the Adeptus Mechanicus, I think. Not a problem, Shireen. I'll have my people put in a good word for you in the right circles. So we got some faction represented, received with the Explorators. Nice. I will humbly await till you steer your vessel towards Dargonis, the Mercatum Tabula Officiale. Sounds almost majestic as the Warrant of Trade. I'm cool with that. I'm perfectly happy to help her out. She might be one of the only people that's going to stick around with us, so... Let's leave and go talk to Argento, who I think was on this side. I also wonder if Cassie has anything she wants to say to us at the moment. We haven't talked to her for a while.
Greetings!
Even in stillness, Sister Argenta radiates energy, with her dark eyes shining and a slight blush to her cheeks. She's reciting a prayer and looks at you only once she has spoken the final line. I'm waiting for you to tell me about your past and to explain the strange words of that cultist on Footfall.
Yes, I'm ready. I would ask only one thing of you, Rogue Trader. If I may, I would like to see the chamber of the sacred warrant and kneel before the relic touched by the Emperor himself. A difficult conversation lies ahead of us, and I wish to pray by the relic before I lay my soul bare.
Okay, fine. She nods gratefully. We're going to the Sacred Warrant Chamber, which I think is actually a really cool looking chamber, so. Argenta drops to her knees, her hands making the sign of the Aquila. Her eyes are locked on the sweeping signature on the warrant, a seemingly mundane thing, merely a flourish on a piece of paper, unless one knows whose hand left that mark and whose blood is on that paper. If thou seest a flaw in me, smite me. If thou knowest a fall of mine, burn me, with flames of fury and righteousness. But if thou seest a light in me, grace me. If thou hearest a plea of mine, bless me, with a wrath of fury and of righteousness. Argenta's voice is sonorous, as if made for singing hymns and prayers, but right now she cannot seem to catch her breath, so overwhelmed with emotion is she. For I breathe by the will of thine, for I live by the law of thine. I carry thy word, O Emperor. I bring solace to servants of thine, and ruin to foes of thine, a fate of terror and righteousness. Upon finishing, she closes her eyes and remains silent for a long time with her head raised high. Slowly, like the first licks of flame and campfire, a smile blossoms on her lips. When Argenta finally opens her eyes, they are alight with uncanny resolution. Rogue Trader, we need to talk, or rather, I need to tell you something. The truth. The truth of how I ended up on Theodora von Valencius' ship, and of the cultists we encountered on Footfall. I'm listening. Please understand, I couldn't trust you before. I'll tell you my story and you'll see why. She pauses. I'll start at the beginning. It's easier to piece everything together that way. Upon arriving in the Expanse and on Footfall, I found no purpose here, only torment. I wasn't needed. The reliquary I had been assigned to safeguard was already well protected by Reverend Hieronymus' mission, and no one was even trying to defile it. For all its lawlessness, Footfall respects the worship of the Emperor. That was when Lady Theodora, head of your dynasty, appeared. She became an agent of the divine in a way, she falters, searching for the words. It was from her that I learned about the planet recently discovered by her scouts, Salus Prime. For a rogue trader, the planet was of little interest, a feral world, away from convenient warp routes, but for me, learning about its existence was a revelation. Please. I've never heard of such a planet. Does it belong to the von Valencius dynasty? Yes, now the planet is yours by right, but it's not as simple as that. The warp route leading to it was lost. I'll explain in due time. May I continue? Yes. The description of Salus Prime was familiar to me. It seemed very similar to a world from an ancient legend, the legend of Saint Argenta and her ship. Her voice grows reverent. Argenta, the living saint. She's my patroness. The Order named me after her. She died millennia ago, when heretics caused her ship to fall from the skies. But even those blasphemers could not touch Argenta's ashes or her holy relic, the One Star. For the fallen ship, which now served as the resting place for the saints' remains, would only allow the truly righteous to enter. All others would meet their death. Imagine what I felt when this flash of insight came upon me. The world where Saint Argenta's ship fell was merely a vague legend. No one knew its actual whereabouts. And suddenly, I, myself named after the saint, come across this information. I realized at that moment that it was important and that I must journey to the planet and find the ship. And so I asked Reverend Hieronymus to let me go for a time on a personal pilgrimage. I boarded Theodora's ship and demanded passage to the newly discovered planet of Salus Prime. Why did you keep your supposition from Reverend Hieronymus? Surely he could have helped you with the search for the ship and the saint's remains. I couldn't just come out and tell him. It was important revealed to me personally, can't you see? I told Reverend Hieronymus the honest truth, that I was going on a personal pilgrimage to embolden my spirit. It really was a pilgrimage. It was as if Saint Argenta herself had shown me the way, commanding me to undertake the trial. If I had found the ship and set foot on its decks, if I had laid my hand on her remains and the relic, it would have been a sign that I had been truly blessed by the saint's favor. That's understandable, searching for your destiny, actually. If you were the only one to have realized what you were dealing with once the planet had been described to you, then this secret was yours and no one else's, as is the decision of what to do about it. I'm glad that you understand me. I had been called, and thus it was my business and mine alone. I imagine Theodora was thrilled with the prospect. Lady Theodora lent her assistance. It was her intention to visit the newly discovered world, and she took me with her. You mentioned something called the One Star. What is it? Apologies, I got so carried away I forgot to explain. The One Star is a relic kept by Saint Argenta. I belong to the Order Pronatus, and we attach particular significance to holy relics. The one star is one of the lost relics of the past, so mysterious that no one even knows what it is exactly. Argenta's hagiography has sometimes called it a banner, or a set of armor, or a blessed chainsword. One thing is certain, it was a beacon of righteousness, and it was lost with Argenta's death. What happened next? Defeat, Argenta says bitterly. The ship's augurs failed to detect anything of note during orbital scanning. I was expecting this, though. According to legend, the ship can conceal itself from the naked eye, and only a pilgrim guided by a pure heart can find it. What I didn't expect was an ambush waiting for us on the planet. I landed there with a small unit provided by Theodora. I know St. Argenta's hagiography by heart. I know all the legends about her. I followed their obscure clues, the descriptions of mountains and rivers from millennia-old tales, and I was certain I found the way to the ship, and that's when we were attacked. The words we heard in the heretic's shrine on footfall, something about ways, doors, please, addressed to some lord, the edge of daybreak. Argenta is shaking with disgust. They were the same words as those spoken by the cultists who attacked us on Salus Prime. My whole unit perished, all those honest, brave people I'd led to search for the relic. It was only by a miracle that I didn't perish along with them. I didn't connect those events at first. The cultists on footfall, the cultists on Salus Prime, the cultists attacking the ship, and Conrad's betrayal. What if these are all links in the same chain? What if they have long since infiltrated the ranks of the Von Valencia's servants? What if I led those heretics to the secret planet with my search? No need to blame yourself. If heretics really had wormed their way into the Von Valencia's ranks by then, they would have found the planet even without you going there. I doubt it. No one except me was particularly interested in the planet. Conrad, on the other hand, he sympathized with me when I first came aboard. He helped arrange an audience with Theodora and supported me in my effort to visit the planet. I never told him plainly why I wanted to go there, but I imagine that Vulture must have figured out that it was something important, something related to the holy faith of the Imperium. And what could delight a heretic more than defiling a relic? So that's why you didn't trust me before, correct? Yes, rogue trader. Argenta looks me in the eye. I saw with my own eyes how a member of your family showed his true colors as a servant of the archenemy. I'm going that way too, so, yeah. I'd already suffered a humiliating defeat at the hands of the cultists, and I was afraid of another betrayal. That's coming soon. I couldn't be forthright with you, and so I studied you, looking for seeds of corruption or the light of righteousness. And what did you find? A man who stood shoulder to shoulder with me and helped eradicate cultists on footfall. She smiles as if reminiscing about a pleasant evening spent in the company of friends rather than a bloody battle. And so just to clarify, you were wounded, so you never found our St. Argenta's ship, is that right? Yes, I rushed to Theodora the moment I could walk again, and I insisted on going back to Salus Prime to defend the relic from the heretics, but I was told the warp had destroyed the old route to the planet, and that plotting a new one would take a great deal of time and effort. As if there could be anything more important than protecting the faith and hunting down servants of the archenemy. In any event, the route was lost, and all knowledge of it died with the attack on the ship, along with the old navigator. But now we have a new lead, the data we collected on the cultist shrine, in the cultist shrine on footfall. I don't care what the reprobate we executed said, there must be a way to track them down. Tell me, rogue trader, will you help me in this undertaking? Will you help me find this great relic and return it to the people of the Imperium? Searching for ancient ships and relics is an exciting prospect. Of course I'll help you. Argenta walks up and places her hand on your shoulder. So be it, rogue trader. As I stand here before the warrant, the embodiment of the Emperor's will marked by his own hand, I vow I will not relent until the holy relic has been returned and the heretics punished, and that may the light be with us both on this path. Yeah, we're gonna do something like that. Do you think we can corrupt the relic? That would be amazing. Or give it to, like, a Chaos Space Marine. I wonder if there is a Chaos Space Marine. I know that there are evil-only, people, like there's secret companions that are evil, but I don't know who they are, how to get them, or anything about them, so let's leave. We finally have done a bunch of talking. That was a good chunk of time. We probably have like 2/3 of the thing done, but let's go down to the planet now, I guess. We can scan our planet, apparently. It has no resources. We can go to the Administratum or the Von Valencia's Palace. Let's do the palace first. Let's get our thing done. Who wants to come with us? Our main character, obviously. And everyone else is just cool with this group. I'm going to drop Heinrichs and bring Adira along, I think. I know Heinrichs wants to go to that other world. We'll deal with that later. You want to come to the main palace? Oh well, doesn't matter. He wasn't exclamation mark, so he gets to wait. Let's go see our homeworld. Greetings, your lordship. Glory to the great rogue trader. We landed. I feel like the ship's engines being so close to people is really dangerous. Everyone seems pretty happy that I'm here so far. Big crowds. Bunch of servo skulls flying ahead. Giant emperor statue. Yep. The Emperor protects. Welcome home, your lordship. The stately woman in a long, full-dress uniform makes a graceful curtsy. Her short graying hair does not obscure her stern features. I am Clementia Wersurian, Court Chancellor of the Von Valencius dynasty. On behalf of all Dargonis, please accept my deepest condolences on the untimely passing of Theodora von Valencius. Her departure is a terrible blow to us all, but as one star expires, another always flares to life, and although still overcome with the bitterness and grief, your subjects hope that you'll become the trade dynasty's guiding light in these trying times. Clementia, Abelard nods. Actually, maybe Clementia? Possibly. Offers a reserved nod. She nods in return, and the lines on his brow soften ever so slightly. Achilles Scalander, the young man, quickly brings a respirator to his burnt face and bows his head courteously. His raven black hair veils his burns and skull implants, and his thin metallic fingers creak quietly as he offers a welcoming gesture. Achilles Scalander, secretary at the Administratum Department, I hope your journey to Dargonis was not darkened by unwanted troubles. We had some incidents, but those are irrelevant at this moment. Quite right, your lordship. What happened cannot be changed, but you still have great deeds ahead of you, so let's look to the future with hope in our hearts. Does your lordship want to survey the grounds, or perhaps we could sate your curiosity by answering any questions you might have? Governor Urband Drivestem has been notified of your arrival on Dargonis and will visit the palace shortly. The preparations for the official visit are well in hand, but your lordship still has plenty of time before the meeting. Why isn't the governor here with you to greet me? Apologies, your lordship. Governor Drivestem's residence on the other side of the world, by the Administratum Palace of Dargonis. We sent word as soon as you entered the system, but it takes time to travel the great distances of your domain. Chancellor Wersurian appears unruffled, but you cannot shake the thought that the governor's lateness is a subtle political gesture designed to test the limits of what is acceptable when it comes to interacting with a new rogue trader. Hold on a minute, Clementia. What did you say your last name was? Clementia nods politely. You heard correctly, your lordship. I am of House Wersurian, Lord Abelard's granddaughter and direct descendant. The succession of service is an effective good. It grants new generations understanding of their functions within the mechanism. Chancellor Wersurian has held her position in the Von Valencius court for many years. She's earned Lord Captain Theodore's respect through acts of great perseverance. There's no room for doubt. Blood has nothing to do with it. Easy, Abelard. I was simply asking. Abelard huffs with feigned indifference. I want to rest. Where's my chambers? They are very close, just down the hall, but that is also where the study and audience chamber are. Achilles' face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her last departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It's ready whenever you may need it. You are dismissed. My apologies for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain can spare a few minutes for a conversation with me? Achilles bows his head. I'm certain you'll find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valencius Protectorate most useful. Absolutely, Scalander. I kind of like you. I think you're a good guy. At least I'm hoping you are. Alright, where are we? So we are here. We are only our main character at the moment. And we can look around a little. We can toss a coin in the well. Let's do it. Glinting in the light, the coin falls into the clear water and sinks to the bottom. How many times can I do that? Is there an achievement for just doing this like a bunch of times? I think that's not going to do anything. Okay. So, oh, there was a loot there, though. Let's go back. Hold up. It's up here. Our tech use is bad. But we'll try anyways. It did work. Okay, we got some junk. Let's look around the grounds a little bit. So there's people, there's the Jai there. There's some wardens, that leads to our palace. There's a tree of some sort. A living fruit-bearing tree in the heart of a hive world is a fantastical sight. They probably use a lot more water to tend this tree than the average Dargona citizen can hope to receive in their daily ration. That's brutal. Yeah, hive worlds are bad news, by the way. You would never want to live on a hive world. Unless you were in the upper tiers, and even then, you probably still don't want to live in a hive world. Let's go look around some more. More loot, more things to see. This leads down to unknown, but we'll take a look around. There's something here. The plaque lists the names of each rogue trader to have led the Von Valencias dynasty dating back to the day the capital world was founded. Quite a few names, probably. What do these servo skulls actually do? Oh, there's trophies. Okay. Trophies of the Von Valencias dynasty captured over the past 3 centuries. Access level restricted. Compliance with the Imperial Creed questionable. Special mission granted to the bearer of the warrant. So we can look at those. Okay, that's returning to the ship. We are not going there. Looks like our gent is over here, but we'll deal with that later. There's an anti-aircraft gun, it looks like. A lore Imperium check, which we're going to fail, probably. Oh, we did. Standing upon the altar is an ancient image of Saint Macarius. Its regal frame is covered in marks. The relic was claimed in a battle on a remote and forgotten world. Wow. Alright, let's head inside, I guess, then. We looked around a bit. There's trees and stuff. We now know our capital world's a hive world, which sucks. Alright. Aristocrats everywhere. There's some goods down there. Oh, we're being stopped. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. Sure. Fire away. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject, Achilles Scalander, informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. Cool. If your lordship wishes to rest after the long journey, then your personal chambers are upstairs and on the right. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Thanks. I want those goods that are on the ground there. Okay, what else do we have? Let's go look around a little more. So our room is up here. There's some goods.
Something of interest.
Some more goods. Some boots. Breeze catcher boots. Whenever the wearer moves through a cell occupied by an enemy, the wearer gains 15% dodge against that enemy's attacks until the wearer's next turn. Cool. There's another opening thing here. We are not that good at tech use, so I'm going to save before we try this. Did work. We got a multi-melta, which is a two-handed ranged weapon. It's a melta gun. They're pretty good, honestly. There's a button there. What does that do? Oh. It's an electrified shard net. This antique piece of furniture is obviously well cared for, but its surface is still covered with a lot of scuffs, scratches, and stains, traces of the previous rogue traders who sat at this table. I guess we get to see an overview of our city, or of our palace complex. Either way. It's looking like a pretty big world. We're clearly in a hive city of some sort. Now, is Dargonis just like a hive city on a world? Or is it like an ecumenopolis where the entire planet is a city? Like Holy Terra is an ecumenopolis. It's just one giant city. The entire planet. There's a faint mark on the polished mantle, which was likely left by a glass. But I don't think our world is as populated as Holy Terra, probably. The bed for the head of the rogue trader dynasty is befitting the status of its owner. There's something over here. We can't go in there yet. Maybe there's a different door into the library area. Probably. Maybe not. Okay, hang on. Let's just put our character like this. Which direction? So it's down that way. It's possible we can go in through that side. But it said the way through was by here and it's getting cleaned up. There's clearly some sort of weird object there. And there's candles and stuff and more bookshelves. But I don't have a way in there yet. That I can see, unless it's out here and down. Possibly. Is this a door? I don't think it is. Where's that guy? I want to talk to him about my inability to enter my room. Okay, we'll find him later. Let's go to the other side and see what there is. There's wardens in front of this door, but it doesn't look like this opens, and nor is there a map beyond there, so... It's clearly not it. Alright, let's go this way then, into the main throne room. There is items in here. I saw some on the map. There's a door there. Does that lead to my library? There's some weird sounds going on. Oh, it's a ship. So the answer to that is a firm no. It does not lead to my library in any measurable way. What's over on this side? What's on this side is a quick save and hope that this works. It did. It did work. We're getting really lucky with these rolls, honestly. Okay, well... People wanted to talk to me. Specifically... Wait, where's that one guy that wanted to talk to us? Is he outside maybe? No, I don't think so. There's wardens everywhere, but... I'm not seeing the person. Hang on, let's take a look around some more. There's Abelard, there's more wardens. Aristocrats. Possibly over here, there's Cassia. There's Clementia, which is not who I'm looking for. Maybe he's outside the door, possibly. Maybe he's down here? Am I just missing him somewhere, possibly? Clementia? Look at our journal. New ruler? Is that what we want? Yes. Nope. That's fine, we'll deal with that later. Waiting in the throne room of the Von Valencia's palace. Okay. This is the throne room, right? Pretty clearly. That's a throne. So where is he? Maybe we have to read this thing first. The Von Valencia's dynasty throne, a visible symbol of the rogue trader's power, which now belongs to me. Guess we talk to Clementia first? Your lordship, Clementia bows her head politely. For a chancellor to a rogue trader, she is dressed rather simply, a parade doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a saber and a gilded scabbard. Whether for show or protection, one cannot say. Only her ring with the Worsarian coat of arms indicates that she is of the highest social stratum. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you'd like to see him. The sharp gaze, the impeccably straight back, the composure. For a moment you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, Valentia saw her fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. Achilles Scalander, does he cause any problems? Why not at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the von Valencias dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he's proven himself quite capable. And I don't usually know why. Right, I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, shall we say, standing. The last word brings a slight smile to her lips. He can wait. Certainly, your lordship. However, her thin lips twist slightly. I do not concern myself with the governor's feelings, but I must warn you, your action or inaction may be interpreted in a certain way. Now, if your lordship will excuse me. Yeah, I need to find... Oh, there he is. He's right there. That's who I'm looking for. The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it's been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you as well as her wishes for your swift return. Heinrichs frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Achilles thumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You hear the clanging of metal against metal. I say nothing. My apologies, Altamar. Given the break in the communications between systems in the Expanse, it has become difficult to maintain contact with agents. Receiving this report and assessing the situation is my primary responsibility. Heinrichs looks at Achilles. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who's engaged in other matters in the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you'll find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord Eltamar Valencius. Allow me once again to express my deepest condolences over the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Conrad Voidbeer's accomplices on the capital world. You promised me a report on the present state of affairs in the Protectorate. I've already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonis' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived from the capital world. And I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonis, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever is the weakest, or whoever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonis are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that, with that transition of power, they will retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Gepreks, and the Sauerbachs. I would also mention that there were Sarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to the Bluebuds' great displeasure. Tell me about the Drivestems. Oh, that's the wrong one. I clicked on Gepreks. Tell me about the Gepreks. The Gepreks hail from a remote forge world, and among their distant relatives there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and the house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Gepreks oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. Drivestems. The Drivestems are the ancient governor house of Dargonis. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the von Valencia's protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that Urban Drivestems' rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drivestems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never surface. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the von Valencia's heir and not his servant. How about Sauerbach? Religious and hard-working, Sauerbachs own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sauerbach family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the von Valencia's dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. And the Wersarians? The Rossarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's seneschal and are, as such, nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonis, however, their position is precarious. First, they were never granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonis, and secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts, clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Rossarians are responsible for the capital world's fleet and the majority of cargo shipments on domestic routes. After hearing all that, I feel the urge to have every one of those commands executed at once. Achilles shrugs. You are naturally well within your right, rogue trader, but I remember that this will cause the multi-layered bureaucratic system of Dargonis, of your entire protectorate in fact, to come apart at the seams, and that's not even considering the likelihood of attempted reprisals from their families and allies. I would hold off on the death sentences, act with restraint and wisdom, present for all to see sufficient proof of the unwanted house's guilt. Do not mistake me, mass executions are one way to solve your problems, but in that case you should weigh up every possible scenario before you act. Enough about them. Anything else you wanted to report? There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet, Xenos, and the threat they pose to both you and humanity as a whole. In the last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Coronis expanse, warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or been killed by some calamity or another. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who are able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. Achilles looks us in the eye without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when the Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drysdale will beg for your protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Altamar, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Scars on your face, what happened? About, he coughs, 5 years ago there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and skilled physicians of Dargonis saved my body except for my lungs, with which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. Do you know anything about what has become of Conrad Voigtveer? The former Master of Whispers is a heretic and a traitor to the dynasty. Achilles nods grimly. Word of his treason reached Dargonis too late. Conrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately, once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and the naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin anyone alive who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt in their heart and now nurtures it in secret. What are your responsibilities? Officially, I'm a secretary at this world's administratum department. Less officially, I'm afraid I can't disclose that even to you. In short, I collect and investigate reports on heresy taking root on upstanding planets of the humanity. Above all else, I'm concerned about the Xenos threat that hangs over the entire Coronis expanse, including your protectorate. Sadly, my mission was complicated with the recent warp disturbances. I am still trying to re-establish contact with many of my agents. Do you know anything about the cult of the Final Dawn? My knowledge is deplorably limited, your lordship. All my attention has been focused on tracking Xenos activity. I'm certain that Master von Calyx can tell you much more about the heretics than I. Any Xenos problems? The residents of the local systems are no strangers to skirmishes with enemies of humanity, but recently the loathsome beasts seem to have flown off the handle. We're receiving reports from ships that they made it through the warp to Dargonis. Both they and the colonies that they departed from are being attacked. We've identified the breed of Xenos that poses this threat, the Drukhari, humanity's ancient and insidious foes. Be vigilant on your travels. The Xenos will undoubtedly attack a rogue trader's ship should they find circumstances to be in their favor. Unfortunately, in the host of humanity, there are those who are willing to grovel before our enemies in the hopes of a valuable reward. You may be interested to know that we are on the trail of such heretics. He glances at a data slate. Overwhelming evidence indicates that a plundered void station in the Lagran's belt is being used as a base by a band of pirates who are not above dealing with Xenos. I was unable to persuade the Chancellor of the need to dispatch a ship there, but perhaps you'd like to pay a courtesy call to the scoundrels yourself. I got more questions? I don't have more questions. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drysdale has arrived at court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is notify her that you're ready to see. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing about your unofficial work. Yes. Who do you truly serve, the Rogue Trader or the Interrogator of the Inquisition? And whom does the Rogue Trader serve, the Golden Throne, the Protectorate? Could it be the one that stems from the other, and if so, is there any sense discussing it? I want a list of your agents and the means to contact them. I can understand your desire as a Rogue Trader to have everything under your control, and yet I'm not at liberty to make use of classified information related to the Interrogator's agents in whatever way I see fit. He lowers his gaze and nods politely. There's no point pressing my agents. None of them would ever reveal such vital information, especially not in my presence. Heinrich lets out a sigh of disappointment. That's all. Alright, now we can go. Okay. I think we're going to call it there. We're 45 minutes in or so, so in the next video we'll finish talking to whomever comes to this meeting, and then we will maybe have to deal with Snow Wolf. For now, like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others will see you next time. Take care.